we cannot wait to see you be a part of Scream 7.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Girl, please, come on. Sydney Prescott,
Yeah.
she is back.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait.
The question is, where am I?
So where are you?
Your front porch.
How excited, though, are you to be Max back in the mix?
So excited. Listen, I love these movies. They're so much fun to be a part of. I'm so grateful for them. I could never have imagined being a part of a movie that would have lasted this many decades.
Right? And the fandom is still
The
as strong
fandom
as
is
ever.
nuts.
And
the fans,
right?
Yeah.
The
And
fandom, a little
the
nuts.
fans are incredible, and very passionate about these films, which I'm very grateful for. So I'm excited to give them a new one.
I've seen this movie before.
Not this movie, Sydney.
You really need some new material.
My heart hurt because you weren't in Scream 6. And the last time we saw Sydney, she kind of had like a supporting role, letting this new generation of characters come into the forefront.
Yeah.
But this time around, in this installment, will we see Sydney more front and center?
We're going to follow Sydney. We're going to follow Sydney.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I'm getting chill bumps just here. I could compare it to like Jamie Lee Curtis, 2018. It's Halloween, her coming back, like this resurgence of her character, and hopefully we'll get the same.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Are you already reading scripts?
I was supposed to get it this weekend, so I'm hoping tomorrow, to be honest.
Why couldn't it have come before this interview, y'all?
I wouldn't have told you anything anyway.
Well, let me just try. Maybe just a little bit.
But they did
Neve.
pitch the concept to me, and it is the reason that I jumped on board, and am very excited about it. So
Well, so this concept has to involve Patrick Dempsey, right?
mayhaps. I don't know.
Mayhaps. I mean, that's the hubs. Y'all got kids now. And Courtney Cox. We got to get Gail Weathers back into the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trio's back, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure that's confirmation. Scream 6 had a lot of conversations going on behind the scenes that kind of became public. You were vocal about pay disparity.
Yeah.
And the studio listened this
Yeah.
time around to give you a proper offer for Scream 7. How satisfying was that to you?
So satisfying. I'm super grateful that, they came around on it. It just didn't feel right. I couldn't, after this many decades of carrying a franchise, to feel undervalued, to feel underpaid, and to feel that it wouldn't have happened to a man in that way, it just didn't make sense to me to walk on set. So I'm glad I stood up for myself, and I'm glad they came around.
Yeah. Know your value, know your worth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important for all of us.
Absolutely.
to push.
And I feel like the stance that you took on your own and for yourself, I feel like that impacted the industry as a whole. Do you feel, or do you hope it
I
has?
hope so. I hope it has. I think anytime any of us stand up for ourselves and make a statement and say, hey, I'm going to stand up for myself. Why don't you guys take note, and if you feel the confidence to do that as well, push, because you deserve it. So I would hope I might have had some part of that.
Without a doubt. It's like my heart hurt you weren't in Scream 6, and it was
Yeah.
like, good on her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the five of us have to stay together as long as we can. It just feels right, doesn't it?
Why?
Because it matters.
This year's the 30th anniversary of Party of Five?
No.
How is this even possible?
I know. It's nuts.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I can't believe it was that long ago.
When you think of that show, is there one memory in particular that makes you smile when you think of that show?
I think about the audition with Lacey, Scott, and Matt, the first time the four of us met. They had done slews of auditions with all kinds of different people, and, mixing and matching, and when they finally brought us in as siblings, we all just looked at each other like, oh, I could see this. I could see this. And then the excitement in the room after we did scenes together, and just feeling the beginning of something really great. And the writing was so good.
And y'all were just magical together. Do you still keep in touch with the cast?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Any in particular that you feel like you keep in touch
Lacey
with?
lives nearby, so we see each other, and she was at my birthday, as was Chris Kaiser, actually, who created Party of Five. And Scott Wolf I haven't seen in a bit, but we stay in touch. And I was in Venice this year and reached out to Matthew, who's living out in Italy at the moment. So yeah, we stay in touch. Michael Gorgon, who played Justin, is my kid's godfather.
Get Out. That is so cool.
Yeah, so we're all close. We're
Party
close.
of Five is a gift that keeps on giving. Any plans maybe for some type of a reunion this year?
There was a request recently.
Well, duh.
Not like a reunion, but just to sit down and talk. So maybe we'll have the opportunity.
I mean, you can totally give it to E.T.
There you go. There you go.
You can't go halfway with Swan Lake.
Karen Kane is one of the biggest international ballet stars ever.
I am directing for the first time. Left side, left arm. I have to feel so brave to do this.
You are here for some, an unexpected project,
Yeah.
Swan Song. So tell us when your love affair with ballet, the performing arts, when it all first began.
I saw the Nutcracker Ballet when I was 6 years old. My dad took me as my Christmas present. And I said, I have to do that. So he got me lessons. And that was it. I started dancing at 6, national, and then I was at the National Ballet School when I was 9.
Right.
I was professional by the time I was 14. Our lovely director, Sean O'Neill, came to me several years ago and said, we've got this idea for a movie. It's based around the National Ballet of Canada. Karen Kane, who was prima ballerina of Canada, took over the company and ran the company for years, was retiring, and in her retirement, she was going to direct and set a brand new Swan Lake.
What a feat,
yeah,
right?
as her goodbye to the company. When they asked me, they had no idea. She's the reason I became an artist.
Really?
And literally, I saw her dance when I was 10 years old and sat on the edge of my seat I mean, the grace, the beauty. I mean, she floated across the stage. I'd never seen anything like it. And her ability to storytell through her body so inspired me. So, you know, I was very, very excited to be a part of this project and to be able to honor her and also honor the dancers and really shed more light on what amazing athletes and artists these people are.
They truly are
They
athletes.
really are incredible athletes. It takes so much physically, mentally, psychologically, creatively. I'm glad that there's more light shed on the dance world now. There seems to be a lot more in the last 20 years, but I think it's just really important to appreciate these people, and this film does a really good job.
So with this background in performing arts and ballet yourself, when they asked you to executive produce, I mean, you seemingly just jumped at the opportunity.
Yes.
And this is a documentary, but you also starred in something, The Company.
I did.
So
yeah.
I feel like here it is, the documentary version perhaps. Of,
Yeah, they had seen The Company. That's not the reason they made it. This is something they wanted to do anyway, but they were certainly had some influence on them, because that film, which I created 20 years ago, that Robert Altman directed, again takes a look at the life of a dancer in a company for a year.
I mean, what a fascinating skill, talent, athleticism. I was just fascinated by the movie.
Good.
And as a mama of 2 yourself, how much do your boys appreciate ballet, the performing arts? Is there any interest there?
Rainer has danced. They love taking dance classes, and we might put them in it again. Yeah,
How exciting.
Yeah, Caspian tried early on. It was interesting that he was interested as well. And he's definitely got natural physical ability. I think it sort of comes with the...
Well, he get it from his mama.
He might have.
He gets it from his mama, that is for sure.
Everyone wants to honor the tradition, but racism isn't a good tradition.
Ballet, it's like my angel, but it's also like my demon.
I feel like the dancers in this documentary, Swan Song, are most definitely going to have an impact in viewers as well. They tackle things like body issues, race, athleticism, so many different topics. How do you feel like these women will teach viewers and impact viewers?
You know, one thing that I really loved about the film is the topic of race. The ballet world has been quite white, for many generations, centuries, in fact. And that is changing. We have a prima ballerina in London, who is of color, which is lovely and important. But in this film, we take a look at the idea of pink tights. I'd never thought about it. It's ballet. I wear pink tights. I'm asked to wear pink tights. I put them on, But to ask a person of color to do the same is actually unfair. And I had never thought about that. It's supposed to, your tights complement your line. They keep color from disrupting us being able to see the musculature of the legs and the line of the positions. But when you put white tights on a person of color, it does the opposite, which can't feel good, So in this film, Karen Kane decides to ask the dancers to not wear tights at all. So you get to see everybody's color. You get to see all these different, tones, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And so we do shed some light on that topic, and there's other topics as well, and we look at sort of mental stability in the dance world and the demand on that, and what happens to their bodies, and what it is to be an artist who's in love and passionate about what they do, but, don't get paid a lot, and yet you still do it because you're an athlete and you love it and you're an artist. So there's a lot that's brought up that I think is fascinating and interesting and important.
Yeah, you guys packed so much into an hour 40. I was fascinated with it. Earlier this year, you celebrated a milestone birthday.
I did.
Happy
I'm
belated.
50.
You can celebrate
Thank
all year,
you.
girl. And you were just loving that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like this phase of your life, you are booked and busier than ever as well.
Yeah.
From The Lincoln Lawyer to Twisted Metal, wildly different concepts and shows, different characters.
Yeah.
How much are you enjoying playing with all this diversity in characters and shows right now at this stage
It's
of your
fun.
game?
It's great. I'm grateful to be this age, a woman in the business at this age and working.
Yeah.
You know, things are changing. I think there's a lot more work for women now, which is great. That doesn't mean it's equal, but
Right.
there is a lot more. And it's nice that women of my age are getting a lot of stories as well. So I'm grateful for it. I'm, to be able to do Scream, to do Lincoln Lawyer. I'm not going back to Twisted Metal, but I'm also developing a show, which I'm excited about, which hopefully I'll get going on after Lincoln Lawyer.
Tell me more. What's the genre?
It is based on a book called The Shore. It's lovely. It takes place on the Jersey Shore, and it's about a mother and her teen daughters and her husband who has a form of brain cancer, and he's going through his journey of losing himself and what these family members do in the face of that. But it's also about this small town and the people who visit and the people who come for the summer and then leave, and I don't know, I think it'll be lovely.